Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're really digging into something universal, that raw, gut-wrenching cry we all know, from pain or anguish or just plain confusion.
Yeah, that feeling.
And we often see it as something, negative, something to avoid, maybe even a weakness to suppress.
Right.
But what if this natural response, this raw cry, isn't just something to push past? What if it's actually a profound, maybe even counterintuitive act of faith, like an act of worship that could deepen our connection to the divine?
Well, that's the powerful paradox, isn't it? And what's fascinating here is that the Bible, well, it actually suggests precisely that.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about lament, this powerful, yet, let's be honest, often forgotten practice of crying out to God in our deepest sorrow.
That's it. Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is for you, the listener, to discover how sorrow can indeed be a form of worship, a real form.
Hmm.
We're going to peel back the layers on some ancient biblical texts like Psalm 42 and Lamentations 3.
Yeah, the heavy hitters.
And then we'll connect with modern pastors, scholars, and, individuals who have truly lived this truth. People like Pastor Yonggi and Joni Eareckson, Tada.
Real life examples.
Exactly. Our goal is really to uncover why lament is a spiritual discipline we might desperately need to reclaim today. Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay, so stepping back to the bigger picture, the absolute starting point for lament is just raw honesty, honesty in your pain.
Okay.
Take Psalm 42. The psalmist begins by expressing this deep, visceral thirst for God's presence, saying, "As the deer pants for the water brooks, so my soul pants for you, O God." Beautiful, right?
Yeah, classic.
But then the tone shifts dramatically.
And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. By verse 3, the psalmist cries out, "My tears have been my food day and night. Where is your God?" I mean, wow, it's incredibly raw.
It really is.
He doesn't hold back his anguish. He speaks honestly to God in his pain. But okay, how does that direct, almost confrontational question, "Where is your God?" How does that actually strengthen the trust we're talking about? It feels like it might undermine it.
That's a great question, and it's crucial. It strengthens trust precisely because it's a direct address. And that question, where are you, God?
Yeah.
It isn't an accusation just flung into the void,
Right.
It's an appeal, a cry to someone who is believed to be present and powerful enough to answer, even if they seem absent right then.
Okay, so it acknowledges God's there, even while questioning.
Exactly. It acknowledges his sovereignty and presence, even in the midst of asking about his apparent inaction. And what's key in Psalm 42, you see it in verses 5 and 11, is this pattern, this hope amidst despair.
The back and forth.
Yeah, the psalmist goes back and forth, pouring out despair, saying, "Why are you cast down, O my soul?" And then immediately, almost like a self-correction, reminding himself to hope in God, for I shall yet praise him. This back and forth is essential. Biblical lament, it really begins in darkness, but it always, always turns toward hope.
So it's not just like passively sitting in the sorrow then. It sounds like there's an active move, maybe almost defiant, a movement towards hope.
That's a good way to put it. Defiant hope, maybe.
But for someone truly in the depths, in that real despair, how does that turning toward hope even begin to feel authentic? Not just like a forced spiritual exercise.
Well, I think it begins with the simple act of turning to God, even with the despair.
Yeah.
And that brings us perfectly to Jeremiah's pivotal lament in Lamentations 3.
Okay.
I mean, after groaning over Jerusalem's suffering, just absolute devastation,
Right.
in this stunning, almost abrupt shift, he declares, "This I recall to my mind, therefore I have hope."
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that, he continues, "The Lord's mercies never cease. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Even in the depths of national catastrophe, God's steadfast love breaks through.
So it's proof almost that hope isn't about denying the pain,
Not at all.
but finding God in it.
Precisely. Finding God right there in the middle of it.
Okay, that distinction feels really crucial, which raises another important question. How is this different from just, complaining, griping?
Yeah, that's a really common question, and the distinction is crucial. Complaining is often just about our circumstances, right?
Sure.
Venting into the air.
Mm-hmm.
But biblical lament, it's a purposeful, sometimes fierce, turning towards God with our pain. Imagine it like a child, maybe. Not just grumbling alone in their room, but running to their parent, tears streaming, asking, "Why is this happening?" But knowing deep down That parent is their only real hope.
Okay, I like that analogy.
That's the heart of lament. It's not just griping about stuff. It's engaging God in it, appealing directly to his character, who he is. It's actually described as a form of praise and prayer with the intent of drawing close to God in times of great suffering.
Praise and prayer, even in suffering. Wow, that reframes it. It's an inherent human cry. We all do it. But for believers, it becomes something more, doesn't it? Something profoundly intentional. I remember reading Mark Verogop on this. He has this powerful insight. We step into this world with a cry. We enter, wailing. To cry is human. Simple enough.
Basic reality.
But then he says for believers, it becomes uniquely Christian. To cry is human, but to lament is Christian. It transforms our cry into a conversation with God himself.
And this isn't some minor aspect of faith. It's deeply embedded in Scripture. Deeply. Over a third of the Psalms are laments.
A third. Wow.
Yeah. And remarkably, get this, half of humanity's laments, these cries of pain recorded throughout history, actually belong to God's people in the Bible.
Half. That's staggering.
It is. And Martin Luther, that giant of the faith, he wasn't just casually endorsing lament. He called these psalms the greatest thing in the Psalter. He said they contained deeper, more sorrowful words of fear and hope spoken directly to God and with God.
To God and with God. That's key.
Right. This direct, honest engagement, Luther believed, gives prayers a double earnestness and life, meaning they are profoundly sincere and also powerfully effective because they wrestle openly with God. They hold nothing back.
So what does this all unlock for us then? It means lament isn't just like expressing pain passively. It's engaging God on this profoundly intimate level. It's crafting a unique prayer language.
Yeah, a language.
Specifically for navigating a world that's frankly marred by sorrow. As Verogop says again, lament is the prayer language for God's people. It is how we talk to God about our sorrows as we renew our hope in his sovereign care.
It's about intentionally bringing our anger, our despair, our confusion directly to God, not trying to suppress it or hide it from him. He can handle it.
Okay, so if we connect this to practical application, how does one actually do this? Is there a pattern?
Well, yeah, there often is. Biblical lament typically follows a kind of structure. You often see it in Psalms like, say, Psalm 13. And understanding these maybe 4 key elements can actually provide a roadmap for your own lament.
Okay, a roadmap. I like that. What's the first step?
The first is simple, but actually really profound. Address God. You start by speaking directly to him, not just vaguely about him.
So using his name or Lord?
Exactly. Think of phrases like, "How long, O Lord?" from Psalm 13. It's a direct plea, straight to the source. It acknowledges his authority, his presence, right from the start.
Okay. Step 1. Talk to God. What's next?
Next, you describe the crisis or pain. This is where you honestly lay out the hurt. Like the psalmist saying, "My tears have been my food day and night."
The raw part.
The raw part. But it's not just whining. It's naming your reality before an all-knowing God. I mean, he already knows, right? But articulating it to him is this vital act of trust, of vulnerability.
Okay. Address God, describe the pain, then what?
Then comes the plea for help. You boldly ask God to act. You find examples throughout the Psalms like, "Awake, O Lord, why do you sleep? Hear my cry."
That sounds pretty bold.
It is bold. It's an act of bold faith, actually. It's an expectation that God listens and that he will respond even if his answer isn't immediate or maybe not what you expect.
Okay. Address, describe, plead. What's the final part?
And finally, and this is a crucial turning point, the affirmation of trust. You conclude by sort of deliberately recalling God's goodness and renewing your hope in him.
Ah, the turn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Psalm 13.5 verse 6 says, "But I trust in your steadfast love, I will sing to the Lord." Or back in Psalm 42, "Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him." This isn't putting on a happy face. It's not forced optimism. It's a conscious, deliberate decision to anchor your soul in his unchanging character despite the chaos you feel.
Wow. It's striking to see how those steps, that structure, can actually guide what feels like a torrent of pain into focused prayer. It suggests that even in our most overwhelming emotions, there's a pathway, a biblical one, to intentionally turn towards Christ for hope. It offers this profound shift in perspective.
It really does.
It strikes me how counterintuitive this might feel for many of us, though. We're often conditioned, aren't we, to just be positive or move on.
Absolutely. Suck it up.
Yeah. It's almost as if embracing the brokenness, like really looking at it with God, is the first step to healing. It feels like a different kind of strength entirely.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
A strength found in honesty, not denial. And this practice, this lament, it isn't just confined to personal psalms either. The theme of lament, of profound sorrow and its echo, it's woven throughout the entire biblical narrative.
Really? Like, where else?
Well, consider even the very early books, like Genesis 9 after Noah's flood. You witness the profound and enduring sorrow caused by human brokenness, leading to consequences that echo for generations. It's a kind of collective deep lament over the world's brokenness.
Never thought of it that way.
And it sort of prefigures what Paul talks about in Romans 8:22, where creation itself groans under the weight of sin, like the whole world is lamenting. And then, of course, in the Psalms and Prophets, it's everywhere. God's people openly weeping and remembering God's past help. Like in Psalm 42, verse 6, "My soul is in turmoil within me, therefore I remember you." That link again.
Yes, memory and hope. And most powerfully, Jesus himself lamented.
Right. He wept over Lazarus.
He wept. And his cry from the cross, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" quote in Psalm 22.1, that demonstrates how he didn't just acknowledge sorrow. He made it holy. He showed us the path to bring our deepest pain right to God.
He modeled it for us.
He absolutely did. And this practice continues through history, right up to modern figures. Think of Pastor David Yonggi Cho.
Leader of that huge church in Korea, right?
That's the one. Despite leading one of the world's largest churches, he faced unimaginable grief with the death of his wife, Grace, after 56 years together.
56 years.
Wow. Yet his continued leadership in worship, in prayer vigils, even while deeply mourning, it powerfully embodied how faith doesn't negate pain. It brings it directly to God through lament. It shows faith isn't about not feeling pain, but about what you do with it.
Precisely. And here's another powerful example. Joni Eareckson, Tada.
Oh, yeah. Her story is incredible. Paralyzed in a diving accident when she was just 17, she described her feelings as breathless, numb, bewildered, terrified. With each new day, every single morning, facing that reality again.
Unimaginable.
Yet she clung to verses like 2 Corinthians 1:10. "He has delivered us from such a deadly peril and will deliver us again. In him we set our hope." She literally tells God daily, she said, "Here we go again, but you are my deliverer."
It's just incredible to think about that sheer daily courage required, and how her sustained lament, that daily turning to God in her paralysis, didn't just help her survive.
No.
It actually deepened her experience of God's grace. Joni reflected, she said, "I leaned on God's promises. Though I might not be delivered physically, he delivers my soul from fear every day. I experienced so much of his grace and comfort. 55 years of it."
55 years of finding grace through lament. That's a powerful testimony.
It really is. It shows lament's ability to bring genuine, enduring hope, not just wishful thinking.
So it's clear this kind of authentic lament isn't about wallowing. It truly leads somewhere. It leads to hope. Martin Luther, you mentioned him earlier.
The reformer.
He treasured the laments in the Psalter, called them earnest prayers, wielding words of fear and hope with double earnestness in life. Said no painter could depict such depth of soul.
He really valued that raw honesty before God. And in more modern times, scholars like N.T. Wright, they urge us to embrace lament too, especially, in the face of widespread tragedies, pandemics, natural disasters, injustices.
Things we can't easily explain away.
Exactly. Wright believes it is part of the Christian vocation not to be able to explain and to lament instead.
Yeah.
Our tears, our cries, particularly when words just fail us, they become a profound form of worship. They actually invite God's grace directly into our pain.
That's powerful. Our tears become worship. Yet, despite this rich history, this clear biblical precedent, lament seems largely forgotten in many modern churches, doesn't it?
It often does, yeah.
There's often this tendency to kind of fast forward straight to praise without pausing for the grief, almost avoiding what we see as negative expressions. Why do you think that is? And what's the cost, of skipping over this vital step?
Well, I think part of it is discomfort with pain, maybe. And Stephen Kump warns that the Bible is very far from a book of happy-go-lucky inspirational quips, especially when you're in profound grief.
Right. Platitudes don't cut it.
Exactly. Those common churchy phrases like God's got a plan, while maybe well-intentioned, can feel incredibly shallow and inadequate in moments of deep sorrow. They just bypass the real pain. Instead, Kump says, lament is the biblical answer for moments like these. It offers a framework to genuinely engage with that pain, rather than just trying to rationalize it away or rush past it.
And the cost of skipping it.
I think the cost is often a shallower faith, a faith that struggles to cope when life inevitably gets truly difficult because it hasn't learned this language of honest struggle with God.
That makes sense. It's actually an act of profound faith, isn't it? When we cry out, "Where is God?" It's not necessarily a sign of weak faith. It's actually exercising faith.
How so?
Well, you're believing that God hears and is truly present, even when all the evidence, all your feelings seem to contradict it. You're still talking to him. Ultimately, our confidence rests in that promise, right? That God will one day wipe away every tear.
That future hope anchors the present lament.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do we begin to reclaim this? How do we practice this essential discipline today, practically speaking?
Good question. Where do you start?
Well, first, maybe a great starting point is simply to read the Psalms of Lament. Just read them. Start with Psalm 13, maybe 22, 42, 77.
Just immerse yourself in them.
Yeah, let these ancient words become your own. You could even try maybe adding your name to phrases like, "My strength and my hope have perished from the Lord." Make it personal.
Okay, so read the laments. What else?
Second, be absolutely honest in prayer. Really. Don't hold anything back, including your tears or even your anger.
Anger, too.
Anger, too. Tell God directly, "Lord, I am exhausted and discouraged by this pain. I feel abandoned." Why, God? This aligns perfectly with the raw examples we see all through Psalms 42 and 44. He can take it.
Okay, honesty is key.
Third, try using I statements. Laments are deeply personal. So personalize your prayers with phrases like, "I hate the despair I feel. I cry out, where are you?" This gives flesh to your sorrow, makes the prayer truly yours, not just reciting something.
Make it specific to your situation.
Exactly. And fourth, and this is crucial, after pouring out your pain, intentionally turn to God's promises. Actively recall his faithfulness.
The hope part.
The hope part. Specifically citing something like Lamentations 3.2223. "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. His mercies are new every morning." This is where the hope comes in, not as a denial of the pain, but as that anchor in the storm.
Address, describe, plead, trust, hope.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Finally, remember that lament isn't just personal. It can be, and maybe should be, communal.
Doing it together.
Yeah. Engaging community. Share your burdens with others. Praying, maybe, "Lord, help Sarah and me through our loss." Some churches even hold special lamentation services to sing these psalms together, or maybe just sit in silence together before God.
Powerful.
And you might even consider writing your own psalm of lament, combining theology and your honest emotions by expressing complaint, petition, and ending with trust. It can be a truly profound spiritual exercise.
Writing it out. Yeah, I can see how that would help process things. So
Yeah.
what does this all mean for us, wrapping up?
Well, I think ultimately lament is worship. It truly is.
Yeah.
But bringing our brokenness, our questions, our anger before God, we actually deepen our bond with him.
How so?
We trust him as our father, like those children crying out to a loving parent who they know can handle even their outrage. This truly is faith in action.
It's not about having all the answers, but trusting the one who does, even when you don't understand.
Exactly. And that insight from Vrogop, that crucial distinction between merely crying and the spiritual act of lament, that's really the core invitation here, isn't it? Yeah.
It's about elevating our human outcry into a sacred dialogue, where to cry is human, but to lament is Christian.
We've covered how lament moves us from despair back into praise and hope. If you're listening and you're carrying tears right now, maybe the invitation is just to bring them to God. He promises to hear. The book of Revelation even says God will one day wipe away every tear, a future promise. But maybe the provocative thought for today is this. Until then, what does he want your tears to communicate to his heart? What do you want them to say to him right now until that day arrives?
That's a deep question to sit with. And maybe let's close with those powerful words again from Lamentations 3.2223, the very turning point of deep lament. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail.
They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Friends, through your tears may you encounter the steadfast love of God. He is faithful. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
May we all learn to lament well as a forgotten discipline that leads us directly into worship.